What's going on, Sha?
Not much. We're all just here getting situated, I guess.
Yeah, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Not everybody punch in when they show up, or show up and start working after they punch in.
No, no.
You gotta get comfortable, stretch a
Right.
little bit.
Exactly,
My,
exactly.
my boy Juan at my last job, he's like, nah, man, when I show up, first thing I do at the job, open my locker, take a shot. And I'm like, whoa, maybe don't tell everybody here that you have a bottle in the locker.
No, don't do that.
Real talk. His our manager, one of the managers at that job resigned. So he finally he's like, hey, listen, I want to have a drink with you, but I'm not supposed to tell you that I got a bottle. But since it's your last day, you can't write me up. So he he gave him a shot, and then the dude got offered. He got a better offer and ended up staying. Oh man, that was fun. Yo, he had to come over. He's like, "Yo, listen, I understand that it felt like entrapment, so I'm gonna let it slide.
Right.
But maybe get rid of that. You know what I mean? Before somebody else find out."
Oh my god.
Oh man, that shit was dope, yo. Shouts to Chris, yo. Chris, he was a cool manager, man. Real talk. He's like, I'm gonna let that slide because I go front. That looked like entrapment. You know what I mean? But yeah, maybe get rid of that before another
Yeah,
manager
maybe,
find
maybe.
out. Oh man, how's it going for you, Shop?
Um, it's going okay. I am I've gotten back into the world of Law and Order SVU
Ooh,
a
okay.
little bit. And I truly don't know why this country loves that show so much. And I don't want it to be I will take over the whole episode talking about Law and Order, because I
Okay,
can do it. I
I
could
believe it.
do a regular, a bonus, and Patreon clips just on Law and Order by myself. You don't have to be here, Gastor. Except for
Oh
the
man.
technical stuff. You wouldn't even really have to be here.
Oh man, for the spinoff podcast, sign up. We're gonna send a link.
But there are already people talking about Law and Order, Law and Order SVU. There's a podcast um that's hosted by Lisa Traeger and Kara Klink.
Oh, rock on. I
They
rock with them.
do an excellent one. They've had guests come on. Like they do a legit deep dive, all of that stuff. Um I watched it when it
Okay.
started, I would watch it. My sister really enjoyed it. She took to that, whereas I stayed with Law& and Order Original Recipe. That's really where my heart is.
Okay.
Um, and so because I wasn't as deep into SVU, at some point I kinda stopped watching. Maybe maybe around the time that, the, Original Recipe ended the first time.
Right.
So, like, that would be, like, 20 seasons of Original Recipe was probably, like, oh gosh, who knows, like, maybe 11 seasons of SVU,
Okay.
something like that. Um, and so I didn't, I was just like, "Well, if that's over, I'm not gonna watch any of it." And then I started doing comedy, so I wasn't really watching it, that kinda thing.
Yeah.
But recently I was catching up on, the most recent, original recipes because they
Okay.
started making them again,
Oh.
and that it's not good. I mean, I love it, but it's not good. They've made some choices, some of, the actors or the characterizations or whatever, they've made some choices that I truly do not agree with. But one
Okay.
of them one of them one of the episodes, had a part 2 that happened on SVU. So I'm like,
Ooh.
"Alright, well, let me try and find" because they'll do that they would do that all the time where a part 1 was original recipe, part 2 was homicide, life on the street, you know what I mean? Or
Right.
one started at SVU and ended at Criminal Intent or whatever. You just gotta follow the so I'm like, "All right, well, since I know I can get to SVU with 3 clicks, let me go ahead and watch part 2." And when I tell you, I was like, "Who the fuck are these people?" Like, because first off, they're on season, like, 26.
Right.
Um, so I stopped watching, I think, probably season 11 or 12.
Okay.
So there are babies who grew up on SVU in the time that I like, full grown adults. Like, I have no idea
Oh,
who
that's
they
awesome.
are.
Oh,
So
yeah, this
I
my son
so
Stabler, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, right, exactly. So I was just like, "All right, out of curiosity, when was the last time I had any idea what was happening on this show?" And it probably even though I probably stopped watching on the regular at, like, season 11, um, it was, like, the end of season 13, beginning of season 14 that
Okay.
something happened where I was like, "Oh, I kinda remember hearing something about that. So let me just
Oh,
watch it." And so that's what I'm doing now. I've picked up at season 14, and I watched the cliffhanger from season 13 and then gone into season 14, and now I'm just watching them. And, it's kinda crazy because I know just by the faces that I saw on the newer one that I
yeah.
am nowhere near whatever the I got like I said, it's season 26. I got, like, 12 more seasons to go before I get to where they are now with it. So I'm like, but
People, like,
what that
halfway into their pension, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
but what the I mean, like, I'm watching where I'm like, "Well, I know that, Richard Belzer passed away, so I know I'm back in the like, I know I'm back there." Um
Oh, you get an anniversary post on IG about that dude.
Yes, right. So um but what this means is at first, I was like, "Child, I don't think I can do this. This is too far back." But what it means is I now have a show that I
Okay,
can watch 3 episodes of every night and be done, because that's about all I could take.
that's solid. They're
You
like
know what
40
I mean? And
minutes.
there's lore. I'm trying to figure out the lore, but it doesn't matter. Like, I can talk about it and, people will just be like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that one," but no one's like, "What? How have you not seen?" Well, no, I'm watching it from, like, 2010. Yeah, no one cares about that, like, and it can just be like it's syndicated, like,
Yeah,
like how it's supposed to be, like I'm watching it on TNT. It's my own little mini marathon, and I'm like, "Great, I could knock out 2 or 3 episodes a day while washing dishes." It's the perfect shit for that.
I love it.
Putting away laundry while that's playing in the
Right?
background, cooking, eating, cleaning up after myself, all in 2 episodes. And that's what's missing, I think, from TV today, is just a show that you have on and every time you hear it, your hands are submerged in sudsy water. You know what I mean? There are just shows where, like, as it's playing, I feel my hands washing dishes, even if I'm not. Like, I'm like, "Oh, I gotta do something because this show is on, and I
Yeah.
need to get something done while this is on."
So,
And I
can I ask,
Uh-huh.
uh, do you not get that feeling from the Chicago series?
I haven't even delved into the Chicago.
They're in the same world too.
I know, they're all Dick Wolf.
Yeah,
I know that, but I haven't even begun because, once you start working with Dick Wolf, your heart you kinda don't wanna work with anyone else. I don't know what he pays, I don't know what's happening, but
it's
I know that
solid.
there are characters or where the actors were on Original Recipe or some other version of Law& and Order, and they're now
It's
different
something else.
characters, but on over in Chicago, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna be able to look at this." They're
It's
calling this woman one thing, and I'm like, "That's Lieutenant Van Buren." Like, you can't I'm sorry, like, I can't see her any other way. But
it's a
no, I
twin,
don't Huh?
doppelganger.
Yeah, a doppelganger. I can't even Yeah, no, and also, I don't know what their shtick is with
Okay.
Chicago. Is it just that they're in Chicago? Because I need more than that. With Law& and Order, it's that the first half is order and the second half is law.
Right. Okay.
That's why I like original the best, because they pretty much stick with that.
Yeah, the other two don't really do that.
No, and SVU is fine, and for a while, like, when they started, they were closer to that, where they at least had an assistant DA that would help them, and, when they'd get to court, they would eventually get to court or something like that, but now, I'm just like, it's just so, like, so much rape and so much kids being diddled. Like, it's too much. And I'm like, where's the DA? And they don't even have one assigned. It's just some random person I'm like, where's Cabot? Like, they used to have a person.
Yeah.
And now and now also with SVU, because so many people loved um Elliot Stabler and Olivia Benson, that they play into that, so now you kind of find out a little bit they're going deeper into their, like, personal lives,
Yeah.
and that's not what we do
Yeah, I
on
don't I
Law& and
don't
Order.
care. This isn't a soap opera to me.
Yeah,
I
so
got
that
that elsewhere. I want the law
it's
and the
a
order.
it's a little bit soapier, and I'm like, "I don't know how I feel about that." It was better when you just kinda discovered you put a couple of things together and you kinda discovered some stuff, where,
Yeah.
it was just kinda sprinkled throughout, and that's usually how Law& and Order would do it. It wasn't quite so personal. And so I like a procedural. I like the procedure. Here's the procedure. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that, and that's what I loved about it, that you could just turn it on at any point and it
You
didn't
did.
matter. But, yeah, like, I don't have to go back on Law& and Order and see what happened in order to see how we got here. It's just like, "Nope, these are your cops, and these are your lawyers." That's it. For this episode,
That's all
those
you
are the
need to know.
ones.
Real
That's
talk.
all. Yeah, you'll figure it out as you watch, but this other shit where I'm like, "Well, why does it matter if and where's the other guy, and why do you keep talking about the other guy if he's gone, and why do I care, and why is it only about Benson?" And, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit soapier than I would like. It's soapier, and then they throw in sex crimes, and I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see how long this goes, but
Okay.
I have been watching TV shows, like hour-long TV shows that are just like network, dramas that you have on while you're getting your stuff together for the next day. You know what I mean? Like ironing your outfit for the next day while, I don't know, whatever 10 o'clock show is on, and that's kinda that's for me what I was raised on. Your
Nah, I
Law&
feel
and
you.
Order, your LA Law, your ER. Look,
Ooh.
when The Pit came back and I'm like, "Oh, this is like ER for me," I was like, "I need more of this kinda shit in my life. This is what I need." So I started watching, like, High Potential. There's a whole genre of shows where it's just like, here's someone who's kind of quirky who helps the police. And I know it's all propaganda. Look, trust me. I know it's all propaganda. I know that it's just trying to make us love the cops more, and I don't think that's possible with me personally.
Okay.
A cab, right? But I enjoy a quirky someone out here talking to a detective all crazy. So I watch High Potential. I tried watching Elsbeth, but she's a little too annoying for me. Um, what are other ones? Like, there's always just someone that has some sort of weird power. Either they are, um, I mean, even Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne, she solves a murder because she can tell when people are lying to her. What? What are
Ah.
you talking about? But I like it. It's good. High
I will
potential.
tell you, I've
Yeah.
avoided these for I appreciated the classics,
Mhm.
but I didn't like the newer ones as much. And the one I got attached to got canceled, which hurt me. It was Stumptown.
What's it called?
Stumptown. It stars what's her name? The one the Robin from How I Met Your Mother, the like
I don't know.
main love.
I never watched How I Met Your Mother.
That is the perfect show to like
Well,
have
that's
in the
it.
background and ignore.
Like, yes, that is a good sitcom for that, but when it was around the time that either I started doing comedy or I moved here, and when I moved here, I didn't really have access to television for a number of years. So there's a
Ah,
whole time, like, from 2000, I'd say from, like, no, because I still lived in Atlanta, so I still had some idea of television. Probably from, like, 2012 to, honestly, maybe 2018. I kinda
whoa.
don't know what was happening on a good amount of television because I was in my room, I didn't have a television, I didn't have, like, live TV, I didn't have cable, I didn't have access to the TV in the big room was my roommate, so he was out there watching it all the time, my old roommate. My old roommate, and so I wasn't really watching much.
Right.
And I also was like, I moved to New York, I'm trying to do comedy, I don't who cares about television? So, like, television, movies, all of that stuff, I'm kinda just never watched. So, I've never seen, How I Met Your Mother, although I'm sure that's perfect for I've never seen a Big Bang Theory.
Hey, that I'm proud of you.
I won't, I
Uh,
refuse.
real talk. I fight that all the time. They keep trying to show me clips. YouTube, Instagram squares. I'm a fan, and no, I fight it. But nah, well done. Keep avoiding it. That's not a good show.
Okay, Stump Town.
Stumptown got me. Like I was in. Of the Law and Orders though,
Oh, okay, that girl.
yeah, I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. I was in, but it got canceled after a season. I think it was like one of the COVID tragedies. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see, I see. Oh, it was just 1 season?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm in. I like this.
What was it
Um,
on? Was it on,
it
like
was
on television? Oh, it
it.
was on ABC.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, it was on some illegal streamer that I paid like $30 a year for to some
Sure.
random person.
Right, right,
Uh,
right, yeah.
but yeah, nah, it was. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think it was. It's. I think it's in Portland. It was like a, you know what I mean, different scene. You know what I mean. I like the cast overall. I thought it was cool. But
Alright. Oh, it was based on a graphic novel?
yeah.
Huh. Oh, well, I can tell you this, Cameron Manheim left that and ended up on when they rebooted, Law& and Order, she ended up on that as a lieutenant, and she was terrible. I was shocked. I was like, "Wait, I thought she was supposed to be a good actress. She's horrible in this." Oh, she was so bad.
Happens to the
Ugh.
best of them. They get
Yeah, it
that.
does. Then they got rid of her in a weird way where it was just like the end of the season, I guess she was gonna be there, but something happened over the summertime, and then the new season started, and they were like, "Well, it's weird that she had to go be with her son." And I'm like, "What? What?"
Oh, that's awesome. I
I
love
love
those throwaway lines just to explain some shit.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, "What, 3 years?" And you're just like, "Well, she's gone." But, I mean, yeah, I was just
That's
like,
awesome.
"What are you talking about?" Anyway, here's Mara Tyranny, and I'm like, "Oh, alright, well."
That's beautiful. Oh man. Wow, I didn't realize what's his name? Makad Brooks. He's on the new Law and Order.
Yeah, what's his story? I
How did
like
he
him.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I like most of the stuff I've seen him in. He was one of the dudes from my USA run.
Your
You know what I mean? When
USA.
I
Oh,
was when I was watching all the USA shows, Suits and all of that,
was
he
he
was
on
in
those?
Necessary Roughness. Hell yeah.
Wait, Unnecessary Roughness, he was?
Necessary Roughness. He was the wide receiver, the star player.
I didn't see that, but I think my sister worked on that show.
Oh, look at that.
Um, I think she did. I She did some PA work
Real talk.
on a few shows, and I feel like that's one of the badges that's hanging in her apartment somewhere, is
Yeah.
Necessary Roughness. Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
it ain't a
no.
stretch. His pops was a football player, so like he just looks like
Oh,
it
that's
already.
why he's just big like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never seen him before, and that's usually how you have to be introduced to me is through Law& and Order. And, yeah, so, he was just on the show, and I was like, "Who is this? Oh
Real talk.
my."
Good
Um,
actor, handsome dude.
yeah,
Dope.
he's handsome and big. I was like, "Ugh, this isn't even." I like him little and squirrely, but he's
I still think one of the silliest ideas. Oh, look, I'm pro having a Supergirl, Superwoman, but
uh-huh,
I always thought it was funny that he got casted in a superhero show and it was Supergirl and they casted him to play Jimmy Olsen. So his role was to be the scrawny photographer that like now is a grown up. So he's in charge of the newspaper, but
uh-huh.
I'm like, you got a 6'5" like Greek god looking dude to like just wear suits in a superhero show? That's wild to me. Like he
Why?
should have been Superman of some sort.
Oh, okay, in Supergirl, in the TV show Supergirl?
Yeah. He's in
Okay.
Supergirl and like not a superhero. He's just a regular dude. Meanwhile, there's like small people as superheroes all over the show. But this
Huh.
big dude, he's just like, oh yeah, I type. You know what I mean? I take
Yeah,
pictures.
right, that is weird. That is weird.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's ill.
so well, he's great on Law& and Order, and then the other guy that they have on Law& and Order now is, Reed Scott, who I was just like, "That guy's face looked familiar. Why does he look so familiar?" He was on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
Oh,
and I'm like, "What? How do
oh yeah,
you?"
I remember this dude.
They got him running all over the place. He's constantly running and pulling his gun out. I'm like, I bet when they come around the corner, he's gonna be standing there with his gun out. And sure enough, he ain't shoot nobody, but he's just quick to hold his gun up to someone. Anywho, I was like, great. I liked, but those two together, I really like.
Rock on. I loved
They're
him in
the
Veep.
yeah, they're my 2 favorite parts of they're the reason why I'm continuing to watch Law& and Order. That and I'm a glutton for punishment, and almost everybody else is just like, "What are you doing?" When it gets
Hey.
over to the law side, I truly don't wanna even talk about it. It's so upsetting. I'm so upset, but,
Oh
you
man.
know, anywho, it's just, nice to have, TV shows to waste my time with,
Okay.
especially because I've given myself a couple of writing assignments that I'm supposed to be doing. So, of
Hell
course,
yeah.
naturally, I'm like, "Well, let's find a TV show to watch."
Makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Nothing like avoiding work to get work
Yes,
done.
yes, absolutely. I'm just starting to give myself work, so now I need things to do to avoid the work I've given myself.
Amen. Oh, you know what's one that I really loved?
Ooh, what?
Rizzoli and Isles.
You watched Rizzoli and Isles?
All the time. Hell yeah.
Oh, man. See, I never liked I think that was a TNT show,
Yeah, I
but
think so.
I didn't like those or the USA shows because I couldn't I don't know, they just didn't sit right with me. Like, USA shows, they couldn't decide if they wanted to be funny or serious
Right. I
in a
agree.
scene. So, I was always just like, "Make up your mind." So, that was my problem with, like, I didn't even try Suits. Uh, my dad watched Burn Notice and talked to me like I was like, "No, that's strictly for dads." I don't know
Yeah, real talk.
anyone who's not a dad who watches that show. Uh
I feel like the first day I saw it, it was when I was like carrying Michaela. I don't even think it like existed before then.
Right, exactly. It's so as soon as you have a kid,
Real talk.
suddenly
Like I like cut
Burn
the
Notice.
umbilical cord and it became visible. Like, oh shit, I see a new color and it's burnt
Yeah.
notice.
All of those shows, was there one called White Collar? Wasn't there one with
Hell yeah, there was white collar.
was there one with a doctor?
Hell yeah, Royal Pains. I watch all these
Royal
shits, y'all.
Pa oh my god.
These are
They're
all of my
all
joints.
terrible. I hate all of those
I loved
shows.
all of them. All because the thing is, every one of these shows was like men vicariously dreaming like life worked perfectly. You know what I mean?
Mm.
These are escape fantasies for men. Every single one
Yeah,
of these shows.
actually, you're absolutely right.
And not only men, but like kind of slacker men that still believe they could like do everything. Like
Yes.
if I could still turn it around, men.
Yeah. I can
That's what
still
this
turn
is.
it
Real talk.
around, man.
Real talk. Like if I really focus, I could still be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all USA is that. You know what I
That's
mean?
so funny.
Real talk.
Oh my god. I never thought of it that way.
Every one of them shows is like some weird like dude that like just decides, you know what? I'm gonna finally focus. And like that's the first episode. The first episode is that. Like,
So
yo, you know what?
it's just like dudes who are like I mean, sure, I ain't really doing shit now, but if you needed me to, I absolutely could be a lawyer.
Real talk. Exactly. Now,
Look at how
yeah,
easy
I
that
thought
guy
about taking
is.
the bar once. You know what I mean?
I know about taking a
That's it, B. I know all about that shit. You know what I mean? And they live on that.
Oh,
And then these
wow.
shows, like, they feed into that idea. Like, see,
Mhm.
he's doing it. I could do that shit too.
Right.
And then they'll criticize because they'll watch the episodes and be like, see, I wouldn't have made that mistake. They wrote the shit and he still made a mistake. You in real life, you would have fucked that up. But they
Wait
don't believe it.
wait a minute. Was Royal Pain, was that a doctor on a beach somewhere?
Hell yeah, he was a head surgeon. He
Uh-huh.
made the ethically right but business wrong decision
Oh.
where like he saved a little kid's life, but the person that died because he chose to do that surgery
Mhm.
was a big donor to the hospital.
Oh,
So he got fired and ends up having to start a new practice as a independent concierge a doctor in the
okay.
Hamptons.
And alright, okay. So a doctor to the rich.
Exactly. And
Okay.
somehow miraculously, like in the first episode where he gets fired, loses his fiance, restarts his new career, he somehow saves the life of a mysterious oligarch billionaire who says, hey, you know what? I kind of fuck with you, even
Of
though I've
course.
just met you today. You
Right.
could live in my mansion.
Mhm.
And that's the only reason it makes financial sense.
Sure.
Him and his brother start a super risky business,
Right.
and a billionaire kind of like bankrolls the economics of it somehow.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you're in the mood for that now, there's Doctor Odyssey, which is
Okay,
just a doctor the doctor's on a cruise ship,
I'm in. I
and
check it out.
that's Josh, was it Josh Jackson? Joshua Jackson?
Oh,
The guy
the
from,
I don't
uh
want to wait. Is that the
yeah,
song?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Pacey
Hell
from,
yeah, shouts to Pacey.
yeah, always shout out to Pacey.
Real
Love
talk.
that guy, and, and then he's, like, new on the boat. The captain of the boat is Don Johnson, who can always get it ever since Miami Vice, can always get it, and then the 2 other, assistant doctors or whatever, and then they're on a cruise ship and, the wackiness that ensues, and, yeah, that's also great. That's great in, like, a Love Boat way, you know?
Oh man, I gotta tell you, shot low key. This is one of my favorite rabbit holes up top ever.
Is it? Is it? Oh, man.
I really hope you get into the Chicago's though. Like I'm into all of them. I don't
How
think they
isn't
quite
there,
do.
like, Chicago there's, like,
There's Fire,
Fire,
PD, and I think
PD,
Med.
and Med?
Yeah. And they all have they're in the same world. They
Mhm.
definitely like touch base with each other.
Right.
And there's episodes where like you'll see like a small interaction to like season finales where they'll have like a lot of interaction.
Sure,
But
sweeps kinda stuff.
yeah, amen. But like but I will say they all feel like their own distinct thing. Um, I would say PD, the cop show is very like action intense.
Okay.
Med is medically intense. So there's a lot of suspense with a little bit more like business and some romance.
Okay.
And then the FD one, the Chicago Fire, they have their like, fire stuff, but it's the one that balances humor the most with it
Right. There's
because they
also
got downtime.
Justice.
Oh, that one I haven't tried yet.
I assume that's law.
Yeah, that got to be
So
new.
there's Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, and Chicago Justice.
Oh man, I ain't even get on Justice yet. Look at that. I
Oh,
got something
man.
new now.
I will say that on that cruise I was on, they had the only television channel that worked for me that didn't have just weird sports on, was just a random selection of just, like, hour-long dramas like this, including ones that had been long canceled or only had 1 season, and they would just show 1 episode, and then they just go to something else, and you're like, "But what happened in the," like, it was so strange. Um and that is where I discovered that there is a TV show called FBI, which is also a Dick Wolf show. It's just called FBI.
Oh man, don't waste time on titles, bro.
Yeah, and it turns out there's also FBI Most Wanted and FBI International. I'm just saying that because apparently it's also related to the Chicago, which is kind of related to Law& and Order. I'm not sure how. I'm looking at this Wikipedia page and I realize I gotta work in the morning. I can't just look at this.
Real talk. Dick Wolf, you out of control, my G.
Oh my
Control yourself,
gosh.
homie. This is crazy work.
Every one of these shows, except for the first one, started with a backdoor pilot, which, as you know, for those who don't know, a backdoor pilot is when you're watching a series and then there's you're just catching up with your series, and then there's one episode that's about a completely different, barely related group of people and what
Real
they're
talk.
doing, and you're like, "What was that about? Why did" they barely and that was their backdoor pilot, like, they were just, like, trying to cram another show in there, and if enough people liked it, they're gonna make a show off of it.
Real talk. Hell yeah, that happened to me on The Rookie recently.
Oh, that's funny.
Real
Yeah,
talk.
literally, the first one was Chicago Fire, and then PD was a backdoor pilot from that, and
Yo.
then Med was a backdoor pilot off of PD, and then
Hell yeah.
Justice was a backdoor pilot. Oh, boy. Oh, I guess Chicago Justice did not last very long.
Real talk. They backdoor too late.
Too late. Yeah, nobody cares.
Yo. I ain't get vested. I know Mad, I cared right away because the main doctor was the brother of one of the cops.
Oh,
So
sure.
I was in. Chicago Fire, the one of the EMTs was the sister of a different cop. So I was like, all right, I'm in. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
alright.
They had two Latin folk that are siblings. They were Dominican on the show, neither of them Dominican in real life, which I thought was fun.
Okay, sure,
You
sure.
know what I mean? I
Oh,
instantly was like,
wow.
oh, that's definitely not our people, but I thought it was
Alright.
dope.
I'm looking at the names of the actors of who's on here to see if there's anyone that I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll watch
I
them do
felt
a
like
thing."
before the Chicago's, I didn't recognize anybody in the Chicago's. There's not a
Oh,
single
yeah?
person in the Chicago series that I was like, oh, I know him from this other thing. Nope. Chicago is the first time I saw all those faces.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them. I don't know if I saw the name, I don't think I'd know who they were, but, but when I see the face, I'm like, "Oh, maybe." I mean, I see one guy who I guess he's a recurring guest. Nope, that's not who I thought it was. Yeah, no, I'm looking at Chicago Fire. I don't think I'd recognize anyone on yeah, I guess Dermot Mulroney was on a couple or something. But then we get to Chicago PD and I'm like, "Oh, I remember her. She was on One Tree Hill." Um,
Okay, okay.
and then, "Oh, I remember this guy. He was in a couple of movies and TV shows that I've watched before." And then we get to Chicago Med, and I'm like, "Well, I know Yaya." Everyone knows yeah, the girl Yaya anyway. She was like the runner up on America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, that's different. That's
Yeah.
different.
I'm like, "I know her." And then here's the one that I think is Lieutenant Van Buren on Law& and Order. Now they got this bitch in the hospital. That's a totally different. You can't do that.
Stick to your practice.
Yeah, that one has Oliver Platt. It's got Steven Weber. He was on Wings. Come on now. I know these names.
I only knew one of them from The Wire. That's it.
Oh, that's very funny. That's
Real talk.
very funny.
Outside of that, I was lost. I don't know none of these people, but they cool. I'm in. Watch all of them joints.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the Chicago's, baby.
We'll see. I gotta watch him first.
I see you in 12 years, Sha.
You may
Okay.
never see me again. I mean, avenged by somebody take out Dick Wolf. If I disappear, he's
Just so I
why.
can finish. Yeah. Know what I mean? It's low-key a compliment. Like, yo, homie, I like your work, but you getting out of pocket.
Yeah, that's too much. Calm down.
Yo,
Calm down, young man. Old
you
man.
you got all the checks already, my G. Let's get into the news.
Alrighty.
Kicking us off. No more pennies. In a big change, the Treasury will stop minting them. That's right. Trump's administration hopes to save big bucks by phasing out the penny. Treasury Department has placed its last order for blank pennies and plans to stop minting the 1 cent coins as soon as that's exhausted. Each penny costs nearly 4 cents to produce, so the move is expected to result in immediate savings of $56 million a year. Treasury spokesperson confirmed the decision. President Trump called for the phase out back in February. Canada, New Zealand, and Australia have also eliminated their 1-cent coins.
Okay, here's my question. They've been talking about getting rid of the penny for a while.
Mm,
Pre-Trump, before Trump was even I've heard talk about like, yeah, they're gonna get rid of the penny, they're gonna, blah blah blah. If
right,
there's anything Trump has shown us, it's that if you really don't give a fuck, you can just do it, right?
right.
Why how he's like February, like, let's get rid of the penny. And here it is the end of May, and they're like, I guess we're gonna get rid of the penny. Meanwhile, they've been hemming and hawing about getting rid of the penny for so long. Like, I don't even know if anyone is mad. Like, I saw this story, like Trump's getting rid of the penny. And I'm like, they've been talking about getting rid of the penny for a smooth 25 years.
Real talk. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, like I made my peace with that.
I
Like,
also feel like I don't do pennies go bad?
what do you mean?
That's my thing. Like, I don't. Why are we making new pennies? I don't feel like we need more pennies. We got all the pennies we need.
Oh, a lot of them. I mean, when you say if they go bad, you
You
mean
know what I
like,
mean? Like, do pennies expire? Like, do they disintegrate? Why are we making new pennies? Like, you made a penny. That's just a penny. Why are we making? Am I crazy? Is that not like what
hey,
happens to the old pennies?
do they expire is wild business.
I got pennies from like the 40s and 50s
I
and
mean,
60s.
well, those old pennies are worth something.
Okay. I'm
So
just
I
saying
think
they still exist. Like they
that's the
here.
thing. Um, is that maybe at some point these pennies that we all have, if they stop making them and something happens, who knows? Maybe they'll be worth something. But uh, then again, who knows? Our dollar ain't up against nothing. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
So, like, where's the
It's
gold
all made
in
up.
this shit? So, who knows? But I mean, like, do they go bad? I mean, if you run them in the washing machine enough, they will rust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some corroded pennies, but put them
Okay.
in the bottom of like a glass of Coca-Cola, something will happen to them for sure. But, um, I mean, why do they make any money?
Fair.
So, it's like that.
Okay.
I guess, I mean,
But like I feel and bills make sense to me because like bills can get damaged. Like a bill could
right.
get torn, it could get like that in the washing machine could get shredded. Like I've never had a coin get damaged.
Have you ever tried to use a coin and a machine won't? Coins can absolutely get damaged. You've never first off, you've never seen a flattened penny?
I've never seen a coin damage where the damage wasn't on purpose. Like I've seen people put like holes through quarters to like
Sure, to
get free
try and pull
games
them
at the
out. Yeah,
arcade.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. But no, I mean, things can yeah, no, coins can be destroyed. But the thing is, when you get it, people, I think, pitch more of a fit about a bill than they do about coins. Because a
Right.
coin, you're just like, I get that that's a nickel for the most part, and they
Yeah.
just keep going. But that doesn't mean that they get if you've ever had a coin that a machine would not take.
Okay. Nah, I've never I'll remember that.
Oh, yeah, no, if it's, like, bent or corroded or flattened in a way where it just won't even like a machine will just spit it back out like, "There's no way I'm taking this."
Uh-uh.
Yeah, yeah, no, that can happen for sure.
Huh.
Yeah. It just depends how often you're using coin-operated machinery, but that yeah, sure.
Like
That
my first thought, if anything, I've had machines take too many coins that's not the coin. Like I've given like Discovery Zone coins to like quarter machines.
right, yeah, because the machines are not like, perfect or whatever. Because that's the thing is if you give it to a person will go, "Oh, I know what that's supposed to be,"
Right.
right? But a machine will be like, "Nah." And the same with some bills. You can put a bill in a machine and the machine's like, "Nah," and a person can be like, "I know what that's supposed to be." It's just I think people, for whatever reason, kick up more of a dust if a dollar bill is, like,
Right.
shredded. Because there are
But
people who will tape it up, you know what I mean? Like,
but then that's part of my argument. Like, why are we even making new coins then?
but why are we
Because
making new anything?
because those get damaged. They're like you do have to
But
replace a bill.
yeah,
I don't
well,
think coins get damaged enough for like to get rotated out. At least not in like I feel like every coin is minted will last as long as like a turtle.
I think you're making more coins or you have to replace them more because they make up the bills.
Okay.
So you can't do like a one-on-one comparison of coin v bill. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Like for every penny, there's a nickel, and then for every nickel, there's a dime, and then you like because that won't. You'll just end up with less money because you need all of those coins. So you need, if you're thinking more of just like a dollar amount rather than um a quantity of the actual coin, the bill, you're going to want more coins. So
Okay.
I think in order to keep that, like, you know, solvent or whatever the word is I'm trying to think of, you'll need to make more coins because you need
Okay.
more of them to add to come up with the dollar amounts.
All right. Keep making them then. My bad. Real
But I
talk.
mean, like, I don't know, I'm not mad at the penny thing, I'm just like, that just feels like a thing where it's like, "Hey, y'all, we've been talking about getting rid of the penny for a long time."
Real
Like,
talk.
people are already throw I watch people throw pennies in the trash.
I don't even think we need nickels.
I think we need nickels.
I think nickels is like that's my cutoff, but like I don't think we need it. I think I'm good on dimes and up.
Nah, I think we need nickels.
What's a nickel?
What, 5 what, the 5 cents?
You're like, yeah, like what do you buy that's a nickel?
No, you need it for the, when something is something 95.
But when are you buying something that's 95 that you're not using a card?
No, see, you're not you we're not talking about the card, we're talking about cash.
Right?
So, you can't just try to trump it all with a card. Because if
But like
that's the
everything
case, we don't need cash. Do you see what I mean? Like, if we're if we're just gonna throw a card down, then none of this is necessary, but we do need it. I think you need
I
the
think we need
nickel.
quarters up, low key.
No,
I
I
don't think
think
nothing costs under 25 cents anymore. So like we're never breaking down things that small,
no, I mean, laundromats are still quarters,
right? Okay,
and I think mentally for the when you put a price up on something, when
right.
something is something 95, that 95 does a lot of lifting, um, for um, like a consumer's psyche,
Okay,
so that
okay, I'm
they
with you.
don't think that they are paying what they are. Just thinking it's something 95 helps
Right,
people for the most part think that they're like, "Oh, this is 4.95. Oh, man, this is like $4." No, it's like $5. It's
right,
4.95. But you need that little trick to help people, I mean, it's like a capitalism trick, of course. It all
right.
is. But that is it's built into our psyche.
Okay, all
And
right.
multiples of 5, it's just easier to understand than like the Walmart way of something being, you know, $15.83. And you're like, "What?" Like, but if it's 15.95, you're like, "Oh, okay, it's like 15 bucks." But you know what I mean? But 15.83, you're like, "Oh, it's like $15 and some weird amount." You know what I mean?
Okay,
There's something about that number and the way that and it could be just the way that math is taught to us, the way numbers are taught to us. Um, but it's the psyche that we have built in our brains here. And
right.
I think that's why I think it would take them longer to get rid of the nickel. Because I've heard talk about maybe we should get rid of the nickel too. Like I've
Yeah,
heard
I don't
that chatter as well. And
who's on the
also,
nickel, by the way?
huh?
Who's on the nickel?
Isn't that Thomas Jefferson? Who's on a
I
nickel?
believe you, I don't know.
I think it was the Buffalo for a while, and then it's the guy with the I think it's Jefferson.
Okay.
And then also, as I've mentioned many times, you know, that $2 roll of nickels is very heavy. So you're gonna wanna put that in the sock,
Mm.
according to the old lady who gave me that advice at the Murder Kroger in Atlanta, Georgia. She told me to get 2 rolls of nickels and put them in the sock if I'm gonna be out here this late at night. So
If you would like
I can't believe we only covered one story, and it's about nickels.
oh man, if you would
Man.
like a sock full of nickels to fight off your enemies,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is like subscribe to the show, baby. If you are Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You don't think that like a sock worth of nickels is a good defense?
Mm,
You haven't been rocked.
you sure haven't.
It hurts. 5 stars. You're gonna want to put your face on that sock. You know what I mean? So they know who sent it. You know what I mean? I swung it. Real talk. If you have any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo, at Gastor Almonte. We don't always get to them, but we try our best. We do appreciate them, though. Shout out to sweet Philip Winslow, FCBLJ, and Winley Locke. Always appreciate y'all. With all that said, I am I don't think I need nickels. Willing to get rid of them, but if they tell me to keep using them on Law and Order, Dick Wolf, I'm with you. Gastor Almonte. You know what I mean? Admittedly, now I'm concerned about her availability to do this podcast because she's going to be watching a lot of episodes of Law and Order.
I will always, hey, I turned off this one to do it.
Real talk. Right now, there is the episode paused. Not all.
I honestly, I timed it so that, okay, when this ends, I got to turn this off and set it all up.
Shalewa Sharpe.
I have lived my life I started watching Law and Order like a year after it started, so like 93 or some shit. So this has been a part of me for longer.
Been spending most our lives.
Yeah, so I've
watching
watched all of this
shows.
grow. I was in there early.
Oh man. The Law and Order OG, original recipe fanatic. Amen. This has been fanatical but critical episode of Dick Wolf.
Kank kank.